Hey guys, Thunder E here, and we're here for another battle vid between the OnePlus 3 and the Galaxy S7 Edge to find out how well the OnePlus 3 stacks up against pretty much what everyone considers the best smartphone on the market. Now, of course, we're going to jump in, compare both devices, look at different things from camera, extra functionality, all that fun stuff. So I can't wait to jump in. So let's start. So starting off with the OnePlus 3, the device is 5.7 inches unibody build and design, really slick smartphone altogether just in terms of build. I like the build quality. You've got a volume rocker on the left hand side, a 16 megapixel shooter at the back with LED flash, powered by a Snapdragon 820 processor and 6 gigs of RAM. Yes, we'll talk about more of the RAM. Now, in terms of physical added features, that notification slider is one big thing. USB Type-C with dash charging, as well as a microphone and speaker ports at the bottom. Altogether, well-built smartphone. You've got a 1080p display on there, 8 megapixel front-facing camera, and you've got a pretty fast fingerprint sensor, I have to say though. Now, the PPI for the display is about 401, so you have all the information in terms of specs for the OnePlus 3. Now, the Galaxy S7 Edge, of course, Samsung's crown jewel with a 12 megapixel shooter at the back. It's a dual pixel lens. It's got a heart rate monitor built in there. It's also got a LED flash. As you know, Snapdragon 820 processor, Exynos in some regions with 4 gigs of RAM. Micro USB headphone jack. Of course, you know that also has a speaker grill at the bottom. Now, since this is the Edge device, it's got dual edge screens. You've also got a SIM and SD card tray. And this comes with 64 gigs of storage. Pretty much. So looking at this, it's got a fingerprint sensor in the front. It's got the dual edge display, so you have curved edges on both sides, always on. It's a 2K display, and the front facing camera is 5 megapixel. It also has a pretty fast fingerprint sensor, but I would say OnePlus is a little bit faster. Now let's talk about RAM. Now, RAM management, all that fun stuff together here. We're going to look at how quickly it opens up app. We've cleared out the applications in all our trays. We're going to open up Twitter. Boom. And it looks like OnePlus is a little faster there. Yeah, had to reload. Now, that's Twitter. Let's go up to another application next. Let's take a look at Facebook. Boom. And OnePlus is a little faster also. So it seems that OnePlus does a much better job, at least slightly faster. But I want you guys to check out my buddy, of course, Super Saf. He has an extensive video in terms of RAM management. You can check that out in the link below. Now, looking at, of course, gaming, where, of course, a lot of concern in terms of RAM will be placed on, the OnePlus does very well. 6 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 820 processor. This is Evil Bane, the game. It's running very, very smooth right here on the OnePlus 3. Also, this does just as well on the Galaxy S7 Edge. I think you're going to see more of that 6 gig RAM use when we get into more in-depth VR gaming on mobile. Right now, I think gaming is pretty much the same on both devices. Now, in terms of audio, we just have to take a listen to the speakers from the OnePlus 3 as well as the Galaxy S7 Edge, and then we can talk more about audio with both devices. Now, when it comes to speakers, I think the OnePlus speaker is a little louder, but I also think because the Galaxy S7 Edge is water resistant, which is why you have to slightly lower decibels. In terms of headphone audio, I'll slightly lean towards the Galaxy S7 Edge there. Now, cameras. This is where a lot of the meat of this video will actually go into. You've got a 16 megapixel shooter on the OnePlus 3. You've got a 12 megapixel shooter on the Galaxy S7 Edge. Both of them have single flash. Now, the camera software on the OnePlus 3 is very simple. Basically, you can toggle between HDR. You can also go ahead and change some of the different shooting modes. You've got a manual mode that gives you live preview, which is really nice. You can go in there, make changes changes, you know, to your white balance, your manual focus, your ISO, those kind of things, and you can take photos that way. Manual operations only on photos, not on video there, but you've got a bunch of different shooting modes, and you can save your photos in RAW format. Now with the Galaxy S7 Edge, you've also got a lot of features. You have effects, you can toggle HDR on the fly, it gives you live preview, you've got a timer, you've also got the resolution, you can go in depth into those settings, of course, and change your video capture mode. You can also save in your raw files, change your storage location to micro SD, and you've got a plethora of modes here: selective focus, you know, live broadcast, built-in virtual shot, as well as also pro mode. And the pro mode is pretty much the manual mode. Same thing, you can change your ISO, your white balance, of course your AF focus, things like that, all together. But let's take a look at video from both devices, and also we'll talk about photos we've taken from both devices. So let's go ahead and jump in. On the rooftop, I have the OnePlus 3, and of course this is the battle vid with the Galaxy S7 Edge. I'm gonna walk down towards the city skyline there, and I'm recording, of course, in 4K, and of course it's got OIS and all that stuff. I'm gonna stop center for a little bit so I can actually put on a better exposure so you guys can see that, so increase that, so it gives you a better idea here. Now there we go. So we have that better exposure, and we can move forward. We can walk up a little bit more. We can of course add some flowers down here, and then we can move up and look, nice city skyline. Of course, then we can take a photo while we're doing this, so that's pretty nice. Now let's go ahead and check out the Galaxy S7 Edge. All right, so now I'm recording with the Galaxy S7 Edge. Of course, this is in 4K in the battle vid with the OnePlus 3, and I'm going to walk up to do the same thing so you guys can see how OIS works with this. In this same case scenario, I will stop in the center, and I will also change the exposure. But you can see off the bat, the basic standard exposure levels are much better, I think, anyway. But some sunlight coming in, I can increase exposure, make it much that way. I can bring it down a little bit. Nice. Keep it nice and balanced there. So you have that. I can walk up closer to the sun right here. I can pan to the flowers. I can pan up. And of course, I can take a photo of the city's landscape. So I'm going to do that. I will take some photos. We can compare photos and videos for both devices. And let's go ahead and do that. Moving to the front-facing cameras, the OnePlus 3 has an 8-megapixel shooter, and this is of course capturing me, Superman shirt, standing outside. It's about 7:30 p.m. Yeah, 7:30 p.m. Great exposure and capture. Now this is from the Galaxy S7 Edge. You can see though, the lighting is actually still the same. It's just it was a little more overcast, but it also does a good job. I think the OnePlus front-facing camera 8 megapixels is just a little better. Now rare photos, of course, in daylight, OnePlus 3 capturing the Galaxy S7 in the midst of flowers. Really nice capture with that 60-megapixel camera. It does a good job in broad daylight. I have to confess, it does that. Likewise, as well as the Galaxy S7 Edge, they're capturing the OnePlus 3 within the same array of flowers. Does a really good job in highlighting the device there around all those flowers. So I think, again, in daylight, you're going to get some really good photography. And if you don't get that nowadays, something is wrong with your device. Now, this is where the OnePlus 3, with some light coming on the side, you can see some washing on the top. A little discoloration, lack of focus, but still captures the main image, which is the flowers in front of you, quite well. And in the same situation, the Galaxy S7 does a good job capturing, but gives you a nice effect here just because there's some more sun coming in. So again, they're about the same in terms of daylight photography, which I should expect is standard for any device. Moving to low light, this is where the OnePlus 3 camera really lags behind. Yes, it's 60 megapixels. You can see there's a lot of dark patches around at the edges of the photo. There's a lot of granulation. You can definitely see Volt Boy, but it's not as bright, even though you can clearly see Volt Boy in the picture, which is something that the Galaxy S7 Edge does a much better job. Well lit, still granulation there, but you can clearly see Volt Boy. You can read its Volt Tech at the bottom, and you can also see if there were any images behind there. So the Galaxy S7 Edge camera in low light conditions really it trumps the OnePlus 3 camera. I just have to say it that way. It's pretty much there. When it comes to daylight photography, I think both of them are pretty much equally the same. But when you go over into photography, video capture, I think the Galaxy S7 Edge does a better job in 4K video, as well as also with the audio recorded from it, and also better OIS stabilization compared to what you have on the OnePlus 3. Moving on to other features, the OnePlus 3 has some gestures by drawing a circle. Pretty much that opens up the camera of your device, so that's a nice way without having a camera button. Double tap to wake up your device. That's also pretty cool. You also can draw straight down to actually activate the music on your device, and a fast fingerprint sensor. Other couple of things you will find here, again, besides the device being really smooth and fast, running Snapdragon 820 with 6 gigs of RAM. If we go into the settings, we can see more functionality in those gestures, and even some button configurations there that actually help you do a lot of things. So battery life, 3000 milliamp battery, forgot to mention that earlier, will last you over 24 hours. Now the buttons there, you can swap the buttons. So that is my back button. If I go back in there, I can swap it. So my back button's now on the left hand side, and that's my multitask button. So you have that ability built in. You also have the fact that you can put on-screen buttons on there, so you can have that too on your device instead of using the capacitive buttons. And you've got other gestures that are built in there, so you do have a bunch of nice software additives that give you more to the OnePlus 3 in terms of just raw functionality. With the Galaxy S7 Edge, you've got the Edge screen. That's the first thing, of course. You can put it on either side. I like mine on the left. You can see you have a lot of information you can go through, from Edge apps, Edge tasks, as well as also Edge news and Edge sports. I have Yahoo News, I have my sports, I have everything loaded there, and it's quick access. Some may not like it. I do, because I can quickly swipe in. I can customize that look and feel whichever way I want. You've also got multitasking built into this device, which is something standard with all Galaxy devices nowadays. So that's something that's pretty cool. Now, when we go into battery, this also has over 3000 milliamp battery, and you should get over 24 hours of battery life. So in battery department, both of them pretty much match pretty well. And you do have, of course, that micro SD card storage. So the question remains, does this still beat the Galaxy S7 Edge? Does the OnePlus 3 dethrone the king of smartphones? Well, the OnePlus 3 is a solid device. It's got a decent camera. It's got great performance with the Snapdragon 820. And of course the 6 gigs of RAM. You've got some really cool gesture controls, and it is priced well. That's the thing. It is priced well, and it does a good job, but it still doesn't beat the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. The S7 Edge is probably the best, most polished all-around smartphone on the market. It's got a stellar camera that rivals any that you find out there. You've got, of course, a wireless charging built in, which I didn't mention earlier. You've also got water resistance, which means I can run my Galaxy S7 Edge in water. I dare not try that with my OnePlus 3 on the device. You've also got the Edge display, where you can add more functionality to the device. You've got multitasking, which is standard with everything that Samsung actually makes. So overall, the Galaxy S7 Edge is a solid device. It is the best device out there. It is better than the OnePlus 3, and the OnePlus 3 is still a good smartphone. So if you don't like my results, if you don't think the Galaxy S7 Edge is a better smartphone than OnePlus 3, let me know, and let me know why that is the case. Otherwise, guys, don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and always enjoy your entertainment.